What if a warrior's greatest battles were fought not with a spear, but against the unseen horrors of his own body? Would you join him on this harrowing journey? The year is 1750 CE, and you find yourself amid the dense kauri forests of New Zealand's North Island, the air thick with the earthy scent of moss as a distant war chant fades into silence. Here, in the heart of Maori tribal lands, a warrior named Tarangi faced the most disturbing conditions: debilitating diseases, festering wounds, and relentless tribal rivalries that tested his spirit beyond the battlefield. Far from a tale of glory, this story reveals a resilience that turns suffering into a legacy, shaping his people's survival in a rugged world. This narrative pulls you into the gritty reality of Tarangi's life, leaving you to ponder who endured such trials alongside him and how they forged his enduring legend. The Maori people, arriving in New Zealand around 1250–1300 CE from Polynesian voyaging canoes, built a society rooted in tribal strength and oral tradition. You can picture the rugged coastline of the Bay of Islands, where fortified villages rose on hilltops, their wooden palisades guarding against rival iwi or tribes. Historical accounts, drawn from early European observations, like those of Captain James Cook in 1769, and Maori oral histories preserved in the Wakapapa, detail a culture of warriors who thrived on fishing, farming, and warfare. Tarangi, a lesser-known figure from the Ngapuhi tribe, emerged during a time of intertribal conflict, his life marked by the physical toll of constant raids and the harsh environment. Archaeological evidence, including skeletal remains with signs of infection from the Hokianga region, hints at the prevalence of diseases like yaws and tuberculosis, challenges Tarangi faced daily. One striking condition was the scourge of infected wounds. You might envision Tarangi, his muscular frame scarred from battle, sitting by a smoky fire, tending a festering gash on his leg with a poultice of kawa leaves, his face etched with pain. Historical records, such as the Journal of Joseph Banks, note that Maori warriors often suffered from wounds that turned septic due to limited medical knowledge, with bone fragments from combat sites like Waitangi showing signs of osteomyelitis. This condition, treated with herbal remedies passed down through tohunga or priests, required immense endurance, as warriors like Tarangi continued fighting despite agony. Tribal elders spoke of his stubborn resolve in hushed tones, their stories a testament to a resilience that turned physical ruin into a badge of honor. Life in Maori society was a relentless struggle against nature and conflict. You can almost feel the damp chill of a forest clearing as you walk past a ware, or house, where families prepared for raids while battling malnutrition and disease. The waiata, or songs, and oral histories, documented by ethnographers like Elsden Best, reveal a community where warriors bore the brunt of tribal wars, their bodies weakened by damp conditions and poor diet. Historical artifacts, such as stone tools with wear patterns from the Bay of Plenty, suggest Tarangi crafted weapons while enduring chronic pain, a survival strategy shared among his kin. This resilience transformed his afflictions into a cultural narrative, a response to the harsh realities of 18th century New Zealand. The Maori worldview shaped Tarangi's endurance. You might hear the soft rhythm of a taongapuro, a traditional flute, as a tohunga blesses him, his work rooted in the belief that illness was a test from the gods, like Tane or Tangaroa. Based on Polynesian traditions, healers used rituals and plants like harakeke to combat infection, as noted in the Ngā Motiate collection. Yet this clashed with the spread of European diseases post-contact, intensifying Tarangi's struggles. warriors shared tales of his unyielding spirit or his moments of despair around communal fires, their narratives preserved in oral genealogies, revealing a resilient soul. These stories suggest a society where suffering and strength intertwined, Te Rangi's conditions bridging survival and myth. But the question lingers: what drove Te Rangi to persist through such torment, and who else shared his burden in those dark forests? As you stand amid the kauri trees, you might wonder what other tales of his resilience lie hidden in the whispers of the wind, waiting to be uncovered. Welcome back, history seekers, as we delve deeper into the shadowy kauri forests of New Zealand, where the life of Maori warrior Te Rangi unfolds with greater complexity and grit. You last stood amid the mossy trails in 1750 CE, captivated by Te Rangi's battle with infected wounds and his unyielding spirit under the Ngapuhi tribe's trials. Now let's explore how these disturbing conditions evolved, fostered unexpected alliances, and tested his resilience in the face of mounting tribal and environmental challenges, a narrative that draws you closer to the heart of his enduring legacy. As intertribal conflicts intensified, Te Rangi's conditions grew more severe, shaped by both nature and necessity. You can picture him in a damp whare, his face lined with exhaustion, applying a harakeke poultice to a swollen knee, guided by a tohunga's whispered advice after a dream of healing waters. Historical records such as the Journal of the Polynesian Society suggest that by mid-18th century, warriors like Te Rangi faced compounded ailments, tuberculosis from crowded pa life, and yaws from unhealed cuts, documented in skeletal remains from the Kaikohe region. The tohunga adapted treatments, blending kawakawa with seawater soaks, a method inferred from oral histories in the Ngamoteatea. This evolution turned his suffering into a craft of survival, a testament to his endurance amid worsening health. These struggles sparked unlikely partnerships across tribes. You might envision Te Rangi trading herbal knowledge with a rival Iwi's healer during a fragile truce, their hands exchanging koru-shaped pouches under a truce flag. Archaeological evidence, including clay pots with medicinal residue from the Waitangi area, indicates cross-tribal exchanges, as noted in early European accounts by Samuel Marsden. By the 1760s, such alliances enriched Te Rangi's remedies, adding fernroot pastes, a detail preserved in Wakapapa narratives. This unity bolstered his resilience, yet drew suspicion from war leaders who feared betrayal, prompting secretive meetings in forest clearings, their voices muffled by the wind, reflecting a defiant spirit. The pressures of tribal warfare drove these adaptations. You can almost feel the damp earth beneath your feet as you traverse a raided pa, where Te Rangi led raids despite a limp, his body racked by fever. Historical accounts, like those in The History of New Zealand by John Savage, highlight the toll of constant skirmishes, with warriors enduring malnutrition and damp-induced rheumatism, evidenced by joint damage on bones from the Bay of Islands. Some turned to ritual scarification to distract from pain, a practice suggested by tattoo patterns on artifacts, a survival strategy shared among his kin. This resilience transformed his conditions into a cultural response, a means to endure the relentless tribal cycle. Spirituality underpinned his journey. You might hear the soft hum of a tianga puara as a tohunga performs a karakia, prayer, over Te Rangi, his work rooted in the belief that illness was a spiritual test from Tane. Based on Polynesian cosmology, healers invoked mana through rituals, using harakeke to draw out infection, as recorded in the Te Ao Maori texts. Yet this clashed with European contact, which brought smallpox, intensifying his trials, as noted by Cook's logs. Warriors shared tales of his stoic resistance or fleeting hope around fires, their stories preserved in oral genealogies, revealing a resilient soul. This tension shaped his identity, his conditions bridging the physical and spiritual. But the mind lingers. How did Te Rangi's alliances and faith sustain him through such torment? And what hidden sacrifices did they demand? As his story deepens, the mystery of his survival grows, leaving you to wonder what drove his unyielding spirit, And how did it influence his tribe's future? Welcome back, history enthusiasts, as we bring the poignant tale of Maori warrior Te Rangi to its stirring conclusion. A story where resilience and suffering shaped a legacy against all odds. You last ventured into the damp ware of the Napuhi tribe in 1750 CE, moved by Te Rangi's evolving battle with disease and his fragile alliances under tribal pressures. Now, let's witness the climax of his journey, where his conditions reached their peak and his story left an indelible mark on his people, offering lessons that echo into today. As European contact intensified, Te Rangi's struggles culminated in a desperate stand. You can picture him in a raided pa near Kaikohe in 1770 CE, his body frail from smallpox, leaning on a carved staff directing a final defense against rival iwi, the air thick with smoke and war cries. Historical records, such as The Voyage of the Endeavour by Joseph Banks, note the devastating impact of smallpox, with archaeological evidence from the Hokianga region showing mass graves with infection markers. Despite his weakened state, Te Rangi rallied his warriors, using a seawater-soaked bandage, a last resort from a Tohunga's guidance, to fight infection, a resilience that turned his agony into a rallying cry. The strain was immense. Some kin fell, yet his leadership persisted, a testament to his unyielding spirit. The tribe's fate shifted with his passing. You might imagine the last chant for Te Rangi in 1772 as a Tohunga performs a karakia over his body, the pa's silence save for the wind rustling through kauri trees. The arrival of missionaries, documented in the Missionary Register in 1814, ended traditional healing with European medicine replacing herbal cures. Yet his legacy endured. Oral histories in the now Motetea preserve tales of his endurance, inspiring modern Maori health initiatives as noted in 21st century studies. This thread wove his suffering into a cultural tapestry, linking past resilience to present survival. The spiritual resonance was profound. You can almost hear the final notes of a Taonga Puro fade as Te Rangi's mana was honored, his death seen as a sacrifice to Tane per Polynesian belief, as recorded in Te Ao Maori. The Tohunga rituals ceased under missionary pressure, their knowledge buried, but stories persisted. Fragments in Wakapa and colonial records, preserved by descendants, speak of his stoic resistance, turning his conditions into a legend of strength. This fusion of faith and fortitude left a legacy of adaptive resilience, a lesson in enduring adversity. Today, his tale resonates. Te Rangi's struggle prefigures modern discussions on indigenous health and resilience training, linking his conditions to global health equity debates. His endurance shapes Maori cultural revival efforts. As you stand in that silent pa, consider this. What lessons from Te Rangi's harrowing life still guide our understanding of survival and identity? The answer might lie in the echoes of those ancient forests, waiting to inspire us anew. Thank you for joining this journey. Stay tuned for more mysteries from history.